support the work police authorities are doing with the IPCC in making it easier for members of the public to get some redress over some of the complaints that they might wish to make, but not actually go through the formal IPCC process. So we're doing some really good work with IPCC, so that members of the public have an easier route, but not only to complain, but also to compliment when policing gets it right. So we'd welcome support on that work.
Home Secretary, do you want to lead off on the politicisation of policing?
Sure. I just don't think elected commissioners works. It's not kind of, let's take a stance because there's a political difference here. We looked at it very carefully. I mean, it emerged, Jackie Smith, my predecessor, looked at it on the basis of the Flanagan report, because there certainly was a need, and it kind of reflects in the second question as well. The public know about the powers that are out there, they know that there are policing pledges out there, they know all these other issues are there. How are they better able to ensure that it does work when there are problems in their area? How are they able to hold the police accountable? And so this idea, well, why not have an elected commissioner? We looked at it. The problem with it is absolutely, as the Prime Minister says, that you cannot continue rightly with the system where the police have absolute operational control. Politicians do not get involved. Home secretaries are not there to direct the police operationally. The Prime Minister is not there to direct the police operation. They must have the professional ability to use their judgment and to use their forces. As soon as you introduce a directly elected commissioner to sit alongside the Chief Constable, you can imagine what will happen. I mean, in effect, Chief Constables have to be above public, even if public opinion is that one individual should be banged up or whatever. I mean, you actually get very close to the lynch mob if the Chief Constable and the police can't rise above that and actually be divorced from that kind of view that's going around. So what we say is there are things that need to be done, and police authorities, we work very closely with Bob and his colleagues, police authorities do have a greater role, and we're looking at various measures in the white paper as how that can happen, and as Bob says, he's helping us on that as well. But directly elected commissioners, I believe, would be a disaster, which is why you won't find a single police officer, a single chief superintendent, a single member of a local authority who deal with the police who supports it.
When I came in as Chancellor in 1997, the first decision we made was to make the Bank of England independent, because we thought it was wrong that politicians should be involved in making decisions about interest rates and about inflation. And I think that system has worked very well. But how much more important is it that the operational decisions on policing policy are not made by politicians who would become vested interests pushing this way and that way? And I do think we've got to think very carefully about this proposition. The politicisation of the police would be completely unacceptable to most members of the public in our country, because they believe that without fear or favour, you are rightly showing operational independence from pressures that you could be put under through a political process. So I think it's a central element of our constitution, if you want me to be absolutely honest about it. And I think we've made progress in other areas where people have been able to give up power, so that those people who've got the responsibility for the actions that they take are operationally independent of the political process. And in this area, to return to a situation where a vested interest can attempt to push the police around would be completely unacceptable. So I think operational independence, and I'm very glad that it's been raised today so that we can point out that this is a very, very important principle for us. And Martin has looked at this as a member of the Home Affairs Select Committee, and so there's a wide view that this is very dangerous territory and would not serve for better policing. It would actually lessen what is the necessary means by which police men and women can make their decisions in the public interest. You can see here, I've been here in Reading, and people have absolute confidence in the Chief Constable here to interpret what she has to do in a fair and dispassionate way, and that she has the needs of the community at heart. And I think you're doing a brilliant job. health service and I look at schools and I look at policing and all the big important public services, we've got to find some way of making it a process by which people can express their views without, as you say, necessarily being totally confrontational. But we've also got to give people the final right to be able to take formal complaints. So when it comes to schools, we've just looked at this really carefully and come to the conclusion that we have got to give parents the right, if they don't think the school is performing well, to petition for the management of that school to be changed. And thankfully, we've now got great schools that could take over bad schools or underperforming schools and make them better because their management teams are working. And in the health service, you know, if there's an underperforming authority, as we found out in Mid-Staffordshire to our costs, you've got to be able to act quickly and do something about it. So for policing, I think, because it's a very distinctive profession, we've got to look at new ways that people can express their views and, as you say, make complaints, make inquiries, but also thank you for what you're doing. So how can we use this great new technology that is available to us, where the communications can be far easier to do, where you don't have to send letters all the time or send lawyers letters to get information and then to get some satisfaction. I think we all need to think about this together, but you're certainly right to improve the police complaints system because people are really, you know, they really do require that as a result that they have to. But improving the communication could make such a difference, and I know that many local constabularies are doing that in their own different ways, but we should think all the time, how can we use this new technology to the benefit? And I believe that if we could find that texting process or the means for people to get in touch, we'll be getting more thanks than criticism, and actually that's the true position from the public's point of view.
Okay, let's take some hands. I see 3 hands. I'll take these 3 questions, starting with the gentleman at the front. If you would just say who you are and which bit you're from, that would be enormously